Story provider. Presence woman called me a racist little butch because one didn't let her cut the line for a drink. Hello. My previous job had me working as a food service worker at Biscary. I worked at a certain berry-themed amusement park. I worked there for about 2 years before quitting a few months back for a job that pays me better. I loved the job for the most part. Most people were cool, and I really only encountered difficult people during busy seasons. And my coworkers, with the exception of two who hated me, had my during these encounters. We were also rig, next to the park's security office. The way my location was SKT up was a little bit weird, and Specif was a bakery with 3 massive display cases separating us as the employees from the customers. 2 registers between the display cases and our soda machine, and a litty nook off to the side. This nook, there were 3 machine, a massive coffee pot, a hot Hoggalate machine that was just a little broken and always mess, despite my best efforts to keep it clean, and a rundown Idle latte machine. There's a counter right next to this machine where the coffees and stuff would be called out. There was also 2 registers set up outside at this time because it was busy season, and these was the most efficient way for us as employees to serve customers. Here was almost always 1 or 2 people on the register cut side, and this time it was my team lead, basically a mini manager, who really liked me because I trouned him. This happened on my last day there. This park has a drink program where anybody with the annual pass could pay an extra $10 or so and redeem a free fountain drink every 15 minutes. People who Aranet pass holders also could get the drink program by buying a souvenir bottle for like $30 that they could use throughout the day and reactivate if they came on a different day. A lot of people with this drink program tended to feel like they didn't want to wait in lines for their rink redemotion. And it was common for them to walk up to the other aide of the counter and ask for their refill. And sually, they were annoyed, but never malicless, when I or one of N coworkers told them that they unfortunately had to wait in line for drinks, as many people in line were also just getting drinks. Lot this lady, though. Ooch no. This lady was out for blood, and she must have sensed that I was in a good mood. It was the last hour and a half of my final shift. One was busy cleaning up a couple of messes that had been made throughout the day by the hot chocolate and latte machines, and was simultaneously talking to my managers and other leads about my plans for the future. About where I pick up my last check. Suddenly, I heard somebody unscrewing the lids off their cups and pushing them towards me. His woman was a litty taller than me, M53, had sunglasses and a baseball cap on, and didn't look very pleasant. You develop SBC sense for difficult people when working for theme parks, you see. She had 2 souvenir bottles on the counter and was holding them out to me, smiled at her and told her, "Oh, I'm sorry, you actual have to wait in line to get refills. One, no, it's inconvenient, but it's park policy." She scoffed at me and said, "Team just getting drinks." And I reiterated that she still had to walt in line, adding that even though the line was Cali long right now, there were other people in who were also just getting drinks. She disappears, and one assumed that she'd gone to wait in the, admitted to, pretty long line. In that time, one finished cleaning the machines and returned to helping customers in line with my other coworkers. About 5 minutes pass, and this lady comes storming back in, cutting the lin ags in, and walking up to the reoister. She pointed at me and said, "You. It's important to note here that I am mixed race, but look white and usually perceived as white because didn't do outside much at this tire and have only recently started getting my darker color act." This woman was black, and most of my coworkers are POM, also autistic with low support needs, just a little awkward and anxious, fidgety, and have trouble making eye contact despite my best efforts. So I'm sure that had sore thing to do with why this lady locked onto me and not my other neurotypical coworkers. He kept yelling at me, saying, "You're a racist little bitch, aren't you? You lied to me because I'm blackle. I wasted all that time in line, and your manager told me that you lied to Mel. You did this because M black, didn't you?" L, as any reasonable person would be, was startled. One had been aimed for flicks like this because I was supposed to be a T, lead before management changed, and was usually the person to deal with customers. Ike her for that exact reason. This was partial, why I quit. Regardless, this was my first time being cussed at by a customer in a malicious way. I said, "Drinks though." No, she basically threw her cups at me and said, "One want ook and Diet Coke." I gave her those and handed her back the cups one by nay, telling her which was which. She promptly scoffed and said, "You didn't put them in the right cups. Have you, stupid?" And she pushed the cups back at me. Had enough at that point and asked one of my friends to take over for me as I went to go talk to my lead outside. I went out there and told him about the lady, and he informed me that he did not, in fact, tell her to cut the line. He saw that he scanned her drink pass and toiled her to just wait for one of us behind the counter to help her, and we'd get to her as soon as possible, told him about her insults to me. And just like that, boom, she appeared behind me. Bill's woman had followed me out and started berating me in front of my lead and hundreds of customers. One Agson calling me a racist little bitch, and saying this I hated black people, that I was a lazy piece of shit, that I didn't know how to do my job, and that I had no right to be standing there and doing all when the line was out. The duly less stood up for me, and would finally just fold het, "It's my Lesta. You can't talk to me that way," and walked away. She didn't follow me again, and even though I had kept the interaction, it hit me at once, the Biscary's storage room. My coworkers now friends were understanding and let me take my time, and thankfully, this woman did not ruin my day. I don't miss that, Joe. Seriously, man, if you're gonna go to their park, please be nick to the workers. I can tell you from experience that most parks are single-handedly run by teenagers, and unless it's a big park like thingy I currently work at, management is in their early to mid-20s, and corporate doesn't care about us. Be nice, please.